Welcome to another issue about what's trending. I'm going to call this a sort of analytical interaction, and I would love you to pay attention so critically because I have lots of revealing things you never knew happened in the political scene sometime last year, which links to the election this year, and some political propaganda coming to our notice this year. Now, talking about let's hinge on a particular trending topic right now. Talking about the aftermath of the dual citizenship ascribed to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinibu, the president-elect. Okay, now you will see that lots of propaganda have been coming up from Asiwaju's camp, and then Peter Obi's camp, and then you're forced or you're tempted to ask who is really the truthful person, or which candidate is really saying the truth, or who is really coming out with the real propaganda here. You've heard it from Asiwaju's side, news and lots of information have come out, ranging from the fact that he had forged certificates up to when he had to forfeit a whopping sum of $460,000 to the US government, and then up to where he was somehow convicted for drug trafficking and so on. You've heard it from the Labour Party camp, where Peter Obi was supposed or was found in an alleged recorded conversation with someone who was purportedly said to be the general overseer and owner founder of the Living Faith Church, David Oyedepo. You've seen another propaganda where someone was sent from the Blues to come shout obedience and make statements in honor of Peter Obi, or in advocacy of obedience, or members of the Labour Party, and so on and so forth. So political propaganda has rocked the peripheral surface of the polity during the past few days, and we are going to hinge on what is happening now, and then I'll give you this particular information. I bet you what, you're going to be shocked with what I'm going to reveal to you. So you do me just one favor, you stay glued to your screen and watch and listen. Now, first of all, do you know that everyone in APC, in the All Progressive Congress, in the camp, knew very well that Tinibu had dual citizenship before the elections, or before the primaries? Let's not go very far, before the primaries. Now, secondly, do you still know that members of the APC camp, talking about President Muhammadu Buhari, Femi Fani Kayode, Festus Keyamo, and so on and so forth, really Abayo Onanuga, really knew that Tinibu had drug trafficking cases? Of course, all Nigerians knew that Tinibu was indicted many years ago in a court in Illinois, in US, okay? And knowing all these things, they still went ahead to adamantly field a candidate whom all hands were pointing at the fact that he wasn't really the best or qualitative candidate or qualified to vie for presidency in the forthcoming elections then. Okay, now this subsequent forfeiture of $460,000 to the US government was known to everybody. How do you think I knew that the APC camp knew about Tinubu's drug cases, especially his dual citizenship, and refused to say a word to Nigerians? Now, let's be very analytical. Sometime on 22nd of May 2022, there was a publication from the Punch newspaper in Delhi that we all know in Nigeria. Okay, now this newspaper had a lawyer and a political activist, a lawyer, one of the lawyers of the All Progressive Congress, Kayode Ajulo. Kayode Ajulo is, of course, I told you, he's a lawyer with the APC and an activist. He wrote, according to the Punch, a secret memo to President Muhammadu Buhari and the then chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Sule. Now, in this secret memo, he was kind of warning them against fielding a subsequent emergence of a presidential candidate with dual citizenship. That's number one, and a pending drug case. That is what was contained, or that's the general summary to what was contained in the memo that was written by Kayode Ajulo to President Muhammadu Buhari and the APC national chairman, Abdullahi Sule. He also warned that they should be very careful not to allow what happened in the case of Bayelsa State to repeat itself in as regards their own presidential candidate. These were some of the contents of the secret memo that was written by Barrister Kayode to President Muhammadu Buhari and Abdullahi Sule. Now, interestingly, Kayode made lots of statements or lots of points in that memo. Interestingly, I will bring these points made by Kayode to your notice. Okay. Now, first of all, he made very, very interesting statements that I could term as being politically groundbreaking. Okay, that's the best word I could use to term these statements by Kayode in this memo. First of all, he said, out of the 25 presidential aspirants of the APC, then 22 of them had or possessed dual citizenship, according to what he wrote. So you see that the APC camp knew so well about the emergence of Bola Asiwaju Ahmed Tinibu with his dual citizenship, okay, and they knew that his emergence and his candidature was actually questionable. But the APC, the members of the All Progressive Congress camp, went forward to field a candidate that all hands or all evidences were pointing to be so unqualified for a particular seat or political seat. Okay, now the issue now is, why did the APC field him? Why do you think the APC brought forth Bola Asiwaju Ahmed Tinibu as their own candidate? Now, when we all know, of course, that he's unqualified, or he's kind of this is the democratically minded society or country where all of us have this same right to choose a candidate by ourselves, even though it is limited to the political parties to do it in the primaries. Okay, even when you go down to the primaries, you will see that there is a high level of vote buying among delegates, and of course you wouldn't say that it is now the will of the people or with the will of the delegates that someone is being chosen to be the flag bearer of the party. This is depleting the polity. Now let us talk straightly, okay? Now, after an election which was described, of course, I remember, by an international observer as a sham election, okay? From an observer from NADECO described it as a kind of sham election and a collation that was marred by irregularities, okay? Bola Asiwaju Tinubu still emerged winner, of course, as we've been on the news for some time now. So, why dare your opponents, after such a very rigorous or a rigorous conglomeration of activities that could still be faulted, why dare your opponents like the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party and the NNPP, the New Nigerian People Party, why dare them to go to the court? Why dare them to go to the election petition tribunal? Okay, why would the APC do that? That means there is a skeleton somewhere. There are things that haven't been said to Nigerians. Okay, now I think, to my own view, that there are just two reasons why the APC will dare other political parties to take the case to court, or the result determined inconclusive to court. Okay, now I feel, to my own perspective, I feel that the first issue here, why I feel the APC fielded a sort of cameo where they dared other parties to go to court is that, first of all, it could be that truly the APC or the All Progressive Congress had the judiciary in their pocket, as we've perceived over time, due to a sort of delay in the ongoing election petition tribunal. Okay, or I still have a second view. It's also could mean that the APC assumed a high level of kind of dumbness amongst the existing judiciary, and perhaps subsequent manipulations which they feel they could toggle between. Now, I hope the judiciary is really listening to this or watching this, because all eyes is going to be on the judiciary, and it's going to remain on that judiciary until the election petition tribunal is dismissed. Okay. Now, I feel that the APC, or neither the PDP or Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, or even Professor Mahmood, as perceived by people, is on trial. Rather, I believe that the judiciary is the one on trial, because after all evidences have been glaring, all hands are pointing at evidences that are available in the public space, you still see that the judiciary tends to slow down instead of going through the duration or number of days allocated by the Constitution or the Electoral Act. the judiciary will still slow down to take its judgment or to give its verdict on the just concluded election petition tribunal. So I would say again that the eyes are on the judiciary. I'm going to read the publication of Punch of 22nd May 2022. That will be plus or minus like 11 months ago. I'm going to read it directly so you listen to what the straight memo that Barrister Kayode wrote to President Muhammadu Buhari and Abdullahi Sule. Let me read straightforwardly and verbatim from the Punch publication of 23rd May 2022. All right. Now, this publication is going to be a sort of a revelation to all Nigerians who didn't really have a first-hand knowledge of whether or not the APC and its camp knew of Bola Asiwaju Ahmed Tinibu's dual citizenship. No wonder that nobody has come out, of course, from the APC camp to debunk the existence or the possession of the alleged possession of dual citizenship by Asiwaju. If it were other political propaganda, okay, you will have seen 24 hours later people in the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC talking about Femi Fani Kayode and Festus Keyamo, Bayo Onanuga and so on will have come out to give straight answers to whatever propaganda was brought forth. But thanks to David Hunde in there, the investigative journalist, for such a very, very intricate news about Asiwaju. Now, let me read straightforwardly from the Punch. Activist warns against presidential candidate with dual citizenship. Human rights activist Mr. Kayode Ajulo has written a letter to the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, and the National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, on the emergence or picking a candidate with dual citizenship or past criminal records. Ajulo said there was a plot by the opposition to ensure that the APC was disqualified on the basis of this, just as was done in the Bayelsa governorship race in February 2020. According to Ajulo, at least 22 aspirants of the 25 that are expected to be screened either have dual citizenships or criminal records, and this will be used in disqualifying the APC. Now, the Punch independently confirmed that the Senate President Ahmad Lawan has a sort of dual citizenship as stated on his form CF001 submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC in 2018. Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State is also believed to possess a sort of dual citizenship. Now, in a letter titled A Secret Memo to the President and Leadership of the APC on the eligibility of persons to contest for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, dated May 22nd, 2022, Ajulo said it was important for the APC to get its act together so that the party would not lose its deserved victory. Now, Ajulo asked the APC to take into consideration the 1999 Constitution, specifically Chapter 6, Part 1, Section 131, and which outlines the basic requirements to be met by a candidate to be eligible for an election into the office of the president in Nigeria. The lawyer Kayode added that the Constitution disqualifies anyone who has been found guilty of an offense involving narcotics or drugs or any other psychotropic substance by any court or tribunal in Nigeria or any other country. Ajulo added that the opposition was already monitoring the situation with a view to taking advantage of the fact that only 3 out of the 25 presidential aspirants were eligible to contest. Now, there has been a question that has been going on the lips of lots of Nigerians, okay? In as much as we know that lots of Nigerians don't belong to the judiciary, neither do you belong to the Nigerian Bar Association, neither do you belong to the political scientists, the political analysts, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't really mean you wouldn't understand, or you have no right to understand the lawsuit and the petition that was filed against the APC by the Labour Party as candidate, that is Peter Obi and its camp. Of course, this particular lawsuit are just in 4 with 4 simple sentences. Okay, now as regards to this revelation I brought to you, that means categorically, if you really look at it from the judiciary aspect or point of view, you'll know that there is little or no case that the APC have to defend in the High Court. All right, now let us take a look at the 4 cases that was made against Bola Asiwaju Tinibu and his camp, of course with INEC inclusive, in the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Okay, first of all, there is a case of dual constituency nomination of Kashim Shettima, the vice presidential counterpart of candidate of Bola Asiwaju Tinubu. All right, that is the first case where the Labour Party are hinging their own petition. Secondly, of course, that has already been confirmed, done and dusted. Kashim Shettima contested for Borno South, Borno North constituency as a senator, and his name was already on the ballot of the same electoral season, and he still came up to represent the same APC as the vice president. That has been confirmed from political space, from information gotten from the political space, from the public space. Now, secondly, it says the second sentence that describes the suit against the APC says, of course, the problem of the simple majority vote problem, with reference to states like Rivers State, of course, where results were seen to be doctored according to the information brought to us from the public space. Thirdly, there is an issue of the drug case and money laundering against Asiwaju that took place in the early 90s, where he had to forfeit a whooping sum of $460,000 to the US government and to a court in Illinois. Now, finally, this is the groundbreaking statement or the groundbreaking lawsuit that made up the petition. The issue of the 25% votes in the FCT. Yes, from the Electoral Act, you will understand that there is a part of it that says, according to Section 137 of the Nigerian Constitution of 1999 as amended and the Electoral Act, it says, and I quote, that a candidate must score up to 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, for him to be able to be considered a winner of the elections as president, or to emerge as president. Now, if you think we're really coming from a bad or from a very blurry point of view, I will make reference to a former Attorney General of Nigeria, talking about Michael Andoaka from Benue State. He was the Attorney General during the Obasanjo government, and then he came up to really clarify on the Rise News this part where it involves 25% votes in the FCT. He said that sometime in 2008, 2728, and it was still involving President Muhammadu Buhari when he filed a lawsuit against the PDP of few irregularities being noticed during the electoral process. Okay, and it was clarified that a candidate, and it was interpreted thus by the judiciary, that according to Section 134, a candidate must score at least 25% of votes in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. That makes the 4 cases done and dusted. I don't know what the judiciary will be waiting for, but it's still at their own discretion to have this information at their own disposal and make the verdicts to count as expected by the people of Nigeria or by citizens of the country. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to tap the subscribe button. Don't forget to like our videos, and don't forget to drop a comment for us in the comment section if you feel something contrary to what we're saying here. See you next time in my next video.